They are off the A-list, they're off the B-list. I don't even think they make the C-list anymore, so...
It's perfect.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
They'd be thick as thieves. Without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, so excited for me.
Meghan Markle is absolutely furious. And we're not talking about your typical celebrity tantrum. Sources say she's been pacing around her Montecito mansion for days, completely livid that Jeff Bezos deliberately excluded her from his $60 million wedding to Lauren Sanchez in Venice. This wasn't some oversight or postal mix-up. This was a calculated decision by the world's richest man to leave the former duchess off his exclusive guest list.
I think Diana, we all know Diana would be shocked that we're sitting here today discussing her son as an outright liar.
While Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Brady, and Bill Gates celebrated love on luxury water taxis gliding through Venetian canals, Meghan was home watching it all unfold on social media like the rest of us. The woman who once commanded global headlines, who sat across from Oprah and made the world stop to listen, couldn't even score an invitation to 2025's most exclusive social event. Jeff Bezos handpicked exactly 200 guests for his wedding celebration, spending an estimated $60 million on 3 days of lavish festivities. Every A-lister who mattered was there. Every billionaire, every Hollywood power player, except Meghan.
If you know how to help.
Thank you.
At this point, we've got to the stage where almost every parent needs to be a first responder. And even the best first responders in the world wouldn't be able to tell the signs of possible suicide.
And that exclusion has reportedly sent her into a rage that friends describe as unlike anything they've seen before, because this snub represents something much bigger than missing a party. But here's what really stung about this particular snub. It wasn't just that Meghan and Harry weren't invited. It was that nobody in those Venetian hotel suites fought to get them there. No Hollywood friend pulled strings. No mutual connection whispered their names to the wedding planners. No one even seemed to notice they were missing. The silence was the loudest part of it all, a deafening reminder that their currency in elite circles had completely evaporated. Lauren Sanchez's bachelorette party in Paris had featured Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, and Katy Perry cruising down the Seine River, living their best lives while Meghan watched from the sidelines. These were people who moved in overlapping circles with her, who had shared red carpets and charity galas. But when it came time for the real celebration, the one that mattered, Meghan was persona non grata. The guest list read like a who's who of American royalty: tech moguls, Oscar winners, media empires, and cultural titans all gathered to celebrate love while making it crystal clear who belonged in their world and who didn't.
It's perfect.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
They'd be thick as thieves. Without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, so excited for me.
Jeff Bezos, worth over $200 billion, had handpicked 200 guests to witness his marriage, and apparently, a former duchess didn't make the cut. When Meghan stepped away from royal life back in 2020, she had a vision that seemed bulletproof. She wasn't just escaping the suffocating protocols of palace life. She was launching herself into the center of a different kind of empire. Hollywood, activism, tech, media. She wanted to be seen as someone who could command attention in any room, someone who didn't need a crown to be treated like royalty. The plan was flawless on paper. Netflix deals worth millions, Spotify partnerships, a lifestyle brand that would make Gwyneth Paltrow jealous, and friendships with power players who could open doors that even royal connections couldn't touch. Meghan imagined herself at the center of cultural conversations, championed by activists, embraced by Hollywood's progressive elite, and welcomed into Silicon Valley's inner circle. But the early wins that seemed to validate everything quickly turned sour. Their Netflix documentary flew to the top of the charts, making it hugely commercially successful, but critics slammed it for rehashing royal grievances.
Best friends with Meghan, so no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But with the ring and with everything else that's going on, I'm sure she's with us. I'm sure she's with us, jumping up and down somewhere else.
Their other projects steered clear of controversy, but failed to make any cultural impact, suggesting they had failed to demonstrate top-tier commercial value outside the royal soap opera. Each setback chipped away at Meghan's carefully constructed image as someone who could seamlessly transition from royal life to American success. The narrative shifted from former royal conquers Hollywood to struggling celebrities trying to stay relevant. And in a town where perception is everything, that shift can be fatal. The Bezos wedding represented the ultimate test of their social capital, and they failed spectacularly. This wasn't a stuffy royal function or a political fundraiser where their controversial status might make them unwelcome. This was a celebration of love between two people who had built their own American success story. Exactly the kind of event where Meghan should have felt at home. But here's the thing about American high society that Meghan discovered too late. It doesn't matter how famous you are if you're not producing results. Netflix's algorithm doesn't care about royal drama if viewers aren't watching.
You want to do that, you choose to do that, well, that is a choice. That's up to you. But the moment that rehabilitation comes at the detriment of others, me.
And billionaires definitely don't care about your duchess title if you're bringing drama without delivering value. The entertainment industry's memory is long, and its tolerance for disruption is shorter than most people realize. Meghan and Harry's willingness to air the royal family's dirty laundry in public interviews made Hollywood's power players deeply nervous about getting too close. When you've shown that you're willing to expose private conversations and family secrets for public gain, it makes potential friends wonder what you might say about them if the relationship sours. Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos move in circles where stability and discretion are premium qualities. These are people who play the long game, who don't rock the boat too aggressively. The wedding guest list didn't just reflect fame, it reflected stability, people who don't rock the boat too much. Meghan and Harry's unpredictability made them risky dinner guests for anyone with serious money and influence to protect. The same fearlessness that made Meghan compelling during her royal exit became a liability in Hollywood's relationship-driven culture. If she was willing to take on the British monarchy, what would stop her from targeting Silicon Valley billionaires or media moguls who crossed her? That question mark hanging over every interaction gradually pushed them to the periphery of the very circles they wanted to join. Behind the scenes, sources close to Meghan describe someone who's been forced to confront the limits of her own influence in ways that are both humbling and infuriating. The same determination that helped her navigate royal protocols is now focused on understanding why her American dream feels like it's slipping away. Meghan's fury about the Bezos wedding wasn't really about missing champagne and celebrity selfies. It was about watching a celebration of exactly the kind of power couple she thought she and Harry could become. Successful, respected, and welcomed by America's elite without reservation.
William didn't know that Harry and Meghan had already recorded their poison for Netflix. It was already edited.
Instead, they were watching from the outside while people who had once courted their attention partied without them. The psychological impact of this exclusion reaches deeper than professional disappointment. It strikes at the core of how Meghan sees herself and her place in the world. Someone who had successfully navigated from small-town actress to duchess to global celebrity was suddenly struggling to maintain relevance in the one place she thought would welcome her unconditionally. Sources say Meghan has been reassessing everything: her strategy, her team, her public image, even the people she once counted on for access and advice. There's talk that she's doubling down on projects that don't rely on elite approval, focusing on initiatives with depth rather than social clout. But if there's one thing we know about Meghan, it's that she doesn't accept defeat quietly. Her anger about the Bezos wedding isn't just frustration. It's fuel for whatever comes next. She's not someone who sits in defeat and wallows. She's someone who uses setbacks as motivation to prove doubters wrong. The lesson here isn't subtle. Fame is a currency with an extremely short shelf life. Respect has to be earned over and over again, especially in America, where yesterday's headlines become tomorrow's trivia questions. Inclusion isn't guaranteed, particularly when the circles you want to enter are already overcrowded with people who've paid their dues and proven their value. The Venice wedding wasn't just a missed photo opportunity. It was a mirror that showed them exactly where they stand in America's brutal social hierarchy. Not at the center where they expected to be, but just outside looking in, watching other people live the dream they thought was guaranteed. The question now is whether Meghan can adapt to this reality or whether she'll keep chasing a version of success that may never have been realistic in the first place. Because in the end, that wedding in Venice wasn't just about Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez celebrating their love. It was about power, influence, and who gets to sit at America's most exclusive tables. Meghan and Harry learned they're not on that list, but the story of what they do with that knowledge is just beginning. But what do you think about this whole Bezos wedding situation? Was Meghan's exclusion from the guest list justified based on her recent Hollywood struggles? Do you think she can rebuild her influence from scratch? Or has she burned too many bridges to ever make it back into America's inner circle? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive into Meghan's Hollywood downfall as shocking as I did, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more celebrity reality checks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.